Welcome to the module Tips and Recommendations for a Gamification Process of the MOOC Gamification in Higher Education. This MOOC was developed in the framework of the Project Big Data for All, promoting statistics and big data through gamification and digital education, funded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Commission. The aim of this module is to provide tips and recommendations to design and put into practice a gamification process. Upon completion of this module, you will be familiar with key recommendations to be considered during the gamification processes. Understand the interconnection of real-world and virtual environments during the gamification process, and reflect on when and how the recommendations should be considered and implemented. Gamification processes are formed by individual elements that together can create a recipe. Different combinations of these elements can be used in different educational settings and purposes. However, it is recommended to consider all of them during the design phase and while putting into practice a gamification process. The first recommendation is to consider storytelling and narrative as part of the gamification process. Storytelling and narrative integrated with the real-world setting enable the participants' exposition and engagement with the game. Authentic tasks carried out in a realistic setting has been widely acknowledged as a reliable basis for adult-oriented learning. The second recommendation is to include technology and virtual environments during the gamification process. Technology-supported approaches and virtual environments used during the gamification process can increase the level of realism. Then, the combination of real-world and virtual environments is recommended. The third recommendation is to take into consideration rewards while designing and carrying out the gamification process. According to previous studies, some kind of reward is expected by the participants, because in our brains, gamification is immediately connected with rewards. The type of rewards range from adding points, levels, achievements, or badges in the game to real-world rewards like public acknowledgement, certificates, and prizes in kind or money. However, it's important to consider that extrinsic reward undermines intrinsic motivation. A fourth recommendation is related with the aftergame. Debriefing and reflections are important elements to consider while designing a learning activity using gamification. Allocating time for the participant to think about their game-based experiences helps them to find meaning in what they are doing and can deepen engagement and learning. Moreover, debriefing has been proven as an effective tool in the learning process. The last recommendation presented in this module is to consider the different types of rules in a gamification process, because games require rules, and there are different types of rules involved in a gamification process. For example, operational rules, which describe how a game is played. Constitutional rules. These rules are the underlying formal structures which dictate the game functionality. Moreover, there are implicit rules, which govern the social interaction between the participants. Nevertheless, law-related and legal implications of games in the real world are often neglected, but they should be also considered. The recommendations presented in this module are not an exhaustive list, do not aim to provide a manual. However, they can be considered as a starting point based on experience and academic literature about the topic. Then, further additions are advised. Moreover, this recommendation can be implemented in a different order, because gamification is more an iterative process of implementation and refinement. Let's practice and implement what we have learned in this module. Create a mind map representing the recommendation presented in this module as a step to follow and add other elements that you consider relevant. Draw arrows between the steps representing the order that you will consider while designing and putting into practice the gamification process. You can also add feedback to previous steps to present iterative processes. You can do it using pen and paper or use the support of offline platforms like MindMeister or Google. Have fun! Thank you for your attention, and we hope this module was relevant for you.